Chosen one, the beauty that has settled on you this month is not a costume slipped over your shoulders. It is a current glowing through your bones. Feel how the air seems to notice you before anyone speaks. How a room inhales differently when you enter. How even your own reflection looks less like an audition and more like an answer. This radiance is not random. God has tuned your inner life like a stringed instrument, and now the whole of you rings on key. What you are calling high sexual energy is not a scandal in heaven. It is voltage entrusted to a careful steward. It is the same power that turns seeds toward light, the same power that makes rivers move their minds and mountains lose pieces of themselves to the patience of water. You are not merely attractive, you are aligned, and alignment reads as beauty to eyes that are starving for coherence. There were years when your body and your spirit argued in whispers, each making a case for control. Your spirit wanted purity without presence, your body wanted presence without purpose, and the tug of war left you tired in places sleep could not reach. This month does not tolerate that split. You are discovering a third way, the way of union, where desire is not exiled and holiness is not hollow. In this union, your skin remembers it is a sanctuary, not a stage. Your pulse learns the generosity of rhythm rather than the panic of hurry. Your gaze settles into a mercy that can see beauty without trying to own it. The glow that others see is the peace your cells feel when spirit and flesh stop competing and begin to collaborate. Stand with this beauty as you would stand with sunrise, grateful, awake, unafraid to be seen by what is seeing you. If the mirror tries to behave like a judge, turn it into a chapel. Instead of asking, "Do I measure up today?" ask, "What is shining through me, and what does it want from my hours?" The answer will not be vanity's checklist. It will be instruction. It will say, "Walk slower than the crowd dictates and faster than fear prefers." It will say, "Keep your voice low enough that truth must be chosen to be hers and to be heard, and high enough that lies cannot drown it." It will say, "Protect your sleep as if tomorrow's kindness depends on it, because it does." Beauty that is kept by rest becomes a fountain. Beauty that is kept by adrenaline becomes a leak. You will feel attention land on you like weather, breezes of admiration, gusts of curiosity, occasional squalls of projection. You are not responsible to chase or to run. You are responsible to host. Hosting begins with thresholds. Bless what is clean, return what is cunning. Let your no be the kind of door that closes softly and still latches. Let your yes be the kind of invitation that expects truth to bring a dish. The current in your body does not owe anyone access. It owes God obedience. When you keep that order, your beauty becomes a safe place for human eyes to rest without trespassing. The holy spark also wants craft. Let it burn in your prayer until heat becomes light. Let it burn in your study until ideas grow up and become sentences that can carry weight. Let it move your body until energy becomes strength rather than static. Write what you've been circling. Practice the song you keep humming under your breath. Put your hands in the work that has watched you from the corner of the room. Desire turns reckless when it is unemployed. Give it a vocation. When you do, you will notice how quickly hunger becomes creativity, how quickly attraction becomes attention, how quickly attention becomes presence. Presence is the highest kind of beauty, because it remains when the lights go out. There will be attempts to rename your glow as temptation. Refuse the downgrade. Temptation invites you to shrink your future for a louder now. Consecrated energy invites you to enlarge your future by building a better now. You will know the difference by the taste it leaves. Exploitation tastes like speed and regret. Alignment tastes like bread and breath. If a path demands that you leave your wisdom at the door, it is not a path, it is a trap with good lighting. The holy spark prefers slow fire, braising a life until tenderness becomes your default, even when circumstances are not gentle. This beauty is also intercession for the parts of you that once believed being seen was dangerous. Every time you enter a room at your actual height, the child who learned to survive by dimming learns that light does not always mean trouble. Every time you receive a compliment with a clean thank you and no essay of disqualification, the old shame releases one more finger from your shoulder. Every time you end a conversation before contempt arrives, your nervous system learns that love has boundaries, and boundaries are love. The holiness of this month is not a glow stick, It is surgery. It is removing the rumor that you must be less to be safe. Practice a small liturgy when the day begins. Place your hand over your heart and tell the truth in a sentence that fits entirely inside one breath. I am a vessel, not a product. Let that sentence regulate your pace and your posture. Pour water for yourself with reverence. The body you bless will repay you with clarity. Step outside and let morning light apprentice your eyes to gentleness. If you must look at a screen, insist that Scripture look at you first, so your soul hears its name before the algorithms try to nickname you. This is not performance. This is maintenance of the furnace God has entrusted to your ribs. When night comes, return the spark to the one who lit it. Tell him where you were tempted to harvest attention instead of harvest fruit. Tell him where you were brave and small and true. Tell him where you still ache for touch that will require a covenant to be safe. Receive the silence that follows as balm, not as punishment. The holy spark sleeps in trust. It knows that morning will find it again, not because you clutched it, but because you stewarded it. Walk through these days as a person who understands that beauty can be both invitation and instruction, both warmth and warning. Your task is not to hide this gift or to hawk it. Your task is to host it so well that those who come near remember their own capacity for radiance. That is the miracle behind your mirror right now. Your face is teaching other faces how to be at peace with their light. Chosen one, if chapter 1 names your radiance as a holy spark, then hear this next truth clearly. The spark arrived with a work order. Beauty is not merely a compliment from heaven, it is a commission. God has made you beautiful this month for a specific reason, and the reason is larger than being admired. Your heightened energy is a resource, and resources ask for governance. Assignment is how voltage becomes virtue. Begin where assignments always begin, with a question that refuses flattery and seeks function. Ask your light, what is the work you want to do through me today? There will be answers that surprise you. Strength for a conversation you have postponed because honesty might rearrange a relationship. Courage to ask for what your calling requires instead of apologizing for needing it. Patience to teach someone the long way rather than impress them with a shortcut. Creativity to translate an idea from possibility to process so others can join it. Your beauty is here to make this kind of work easier to begin and harder to abandon. Assignments come with lanes. You are not called to heal every hunger that your presence awakens. Pay attention to the kinds of needs that grow clearer when you show up. For some chosen ones, the assignment is to turn chaotic rooms into order without humiliation, and your calm becomes infrastructure. For others, the assignment is to turn dry rooms into meaning, and your warmth becomes water. For still others, the assignment is to stand at thresholds and teach consent by example, and your boundaries become a curriculum. Examine your history with kindness and curiosity. The pattern will reveal where your beauty is most useful. God often repeats his requests until we admit we heard them. This month's current will draw invitations that look like destiny and feel like cotton candy. So sweet, so dissolving. Assignment will rarely flatter you that way. It will fit like a well-made tool, steady in the hand, simple and strong. You may be asked to build a schedule that honors both your gifts and your limits, and to live by it even when demand swells. You may be asked to craft sentences that end spirals kindly and to use them instead of the cutting comebacks you could deliver. You may be asked to host a table where the rule is dignity, and to keep that rule even when an old joke begs for a cheaper laugh. These do not trend, but they bear fruit, and fruit is what assignments are after. The energy you feel in your body is a builder's budget. Spend it on structures that will still be standing when this particular brightness levels out. If you are an artist, make pages and not just posts. If you lead, build policies that make tenderness predictable. If you parent or mentor, install rhythms that teach rest as fluently as responsibility. Aim your desire at work that will bless people you will never meet. This is not asceticism, it is accuracy. What flashes may entertain, what is faithfully formed will shepherd. Assignment requires discernment at the door. Attention is a poor hiring manager. Do not let it staff your calendar. Before you accept an invitation, test it against the 3 measurements heaven keeps handing you. Is it clean, by which I mean aligned with truth even when truth is expensive? Is it sustainable, by which I mean respectful of your body's limits and your soul's need to breathe? Is it loving without lying, by which I mean generous without forfeiting integrity? If an invitation fails any one of the three, it is not your assignment. Let it go without writing an obituary about what might have been. Beauty as assignment also changes how you receive gifts. A door opens, a compliment lands, a resource appears right when your vision asked for lumber. Receive them with gratitude that does not mortgage your center. The gift is not purchasing you. It is partnering with your purpose. You will know it's a partner if it increases your capacity to tell the truth and to rest. You will know it's a purchaser if it requires you to become a spokesperson for a narrative that shrinks your soul. Send purchasers away with kindness. Keep partners close and steward their trust by making something holy with what they gave. There will be people who come near your glow hoping it can save them from the labor of their own formation. Assignment will teach you the art of compassionate refusal. You can love someone and still let them keep their work. You can listen and not become responsible for outcomes. You can help and still insist on boundaries that keep both hearts human. The temptation to overfunction will masquerade as kindness. It is usually fear of being unloved if you are not essential. Heaven calls you beloved before you lift a finger. Let that be your insulation against the seduction of saviorhood. Your assignment includes your own joy. Do not postpone delight until the project is perfect, or the conversation is complete, or the message lands with universal approval. Joy is not a dessert you earn. It is a daily vitamin you take so the work does not eat you. Laugh early, eat slowly, touch the beauty you are not producing, the tree that works without your applause, the river that sings without your playlist, the sky that changes costume whether you watch or not. This will train your heart to remember that you are part of something larger than your effort, which keeps effort honest. Some days, the assignment will be small and secret. You will feel the push to be dazzling, and you will choose to be decent. You will feel the urge to perform, and you will choose to be present. You will feel the itch to defend yourself, and you will choose to let your records speak. These are not missed opportunities. They are kept covenants. In heaven's accounting, they weigh more than the momentary roar of a crowd. The person you are becoming is the assignment beneath every assignment. Guard that project above all. At night, debrief with God as if you and He are teammates reviewing film. Where did beauty move something forward that words could not? Where did you spend energy on spectacle and call it service? Where did you say the hard yes that saved a day 2 months from now? Where did you say the necessary no that rescued your peace? Let Him correct you outright and comfort you thoroughly. You are not graded on the curve of anyone else's calling. You are measured against your own obedience, which is why the report is always intimate, never comparative. Walk into tomorrow with a builder's conscience and a dancer's ease. The beauty on you is a tool that also sings, a song that also works. Keep both qualities alive. Become the person a room can trust because your glow never asks it to violate itself. Become the person your own soul can trust because your choices do not sell it for applause. The assignment will clarify as you move. Take the step you can see, and the next stone will rise to meet your foot. This is how chosen ones carry months like this, not as a performance to survive, but as a purpose to serve. Chosen one attraction is not a random magnet thrown into a crowd. It is a compass tuned to a north bigger than you. This month you can feel the field around you, a gentle tug that rearranges conversations and tilts rooms in your direction. It would be easy to mistake tilt for entitlement or for entertainment. It is neither. It is instruction. The pull is not trying to make you the center. It is trying to make you a steward. When people lean closer, the question beneath their questions is simple. Can desire be dignified here? Your task is to answer with how you stand, how you speak, and how you stop when stopping is holy. And you recognize the difference between a moment that wants to borrow your glow and a moment that wants to discover its own. The first drains, the second multiplies. The first requires that you perform the part of yourself that costs you peace. The second invites the part of you that makes peace possible for everyone. The test is in your breath. When attention lands, notice whether your ribs widen or tighten. Expansion is a sign of alignment. constriction is a sign of compromise. You no longer trade oxygen for applause. You have learned to let your lungs be a sanctuary and to treat your pace as a kind of priesthood. You slow where frenzy is rewarded. You go when clarity is present. You remain when tenderness is growing. You leave when respect is shrinking. Purpose changes the grammar of your presence. Your yes becomes a line that leads somewhere rather than a circle that spins. Your no becomes a doorway that protects everyone's dignity, including your own. You begin to practice the small sentences that keep human weather clear. I'm honored and I'm not available. I'm curious and I need time. I'm moved and I will not move my boundaries. You say these words without flinching because you have stopped teaching your body that kindness requires self-betrayal. People learn quickly when a life is legible. They adjust to the truth or they drift toward rooms that prefer illusion. You do not have to curate their choices. You only have to remain fluent in yours. Attraction with purpose also refines your attention. You aim your gaze like light, not like heat. Heat wants to consume, light wants to reveal. You look at faces and notice the unguarded details. The way fatigue sits in a laugh, the way hope appears around the eyes before it reaches the mouth. You refuse to turn these details into leverage. You bless them by refusing spectacle. You ask questions that let people meet themselves without needing you as a mirror. You do not hunt confessions to feel necessary. You hold silence so truth can arrive at its own pace without being dragged on stage. You begin to recognize approach by its fruits. Some presences arrive with patience. They are willing to move at the speed of respect. Others arrive with urgency. They insist that intimacy is proven by acceleration. You greet patience with presence and urgency with pause. You bless the clean hunger that asks for agreement as much as it asks for access. You bless it by offering clarity instead of chemistry as the first form of connection. When urgency insists, you do not interpret persistence as passion. You interpret it as a boundary exam you did not schedule. Your refusal is not a punishment. It is a lesson in the language your life now speaks. Affection is free and access is earned. Purpose is practical. You convert the charge in your body into motion that matters. You answer long postponed emails with decisive kindness. You clear a desk that has been pretending to be a mountain. You place calls that open rooms for others whose gifts are real, but whose timing has been starved by doubt. You delegate where control once felt like safety. You create systems that do not require your charisma to function. Attraction without purpose creates dependency. Attraction with purpose creates capacity. People leave your orbit strengthened to stand at their own height, rather than addicted to your altitude. There is a tenderness to how you carry all this. You do not dramatize restraint as sainthood. You do not announce discernment as a spectacle. You practice a soft choreography, one step closer when safety grows, one step back when clarity dims, a steady stride when the path aligns with everything you have promised God in quieter hours. You let the day remember that desire can be directional. It can build, it can bless, it can walk past 1,000 glittering detours without bitterness, because it has learned to trust that a clean yes is worth the wait. You will be tempted to harvest the halo of the moment. The algorithm will offer to broker your magnetism for numbers that can be counted but cannot keep you warm. The room will ask you to turn your boundaries into a game everyone can win if they play loudly enough. Old parts of you will whisper that being chosen means being consumed. You answer each temptation with the same sentence shaped from the months you have spent learning. I am not here to be eaten. I am here to be useful. Usefulness in this chapter of your life looks like telling the truth in ways that make other people braver. It looks like refusing escalation. It looks like protecting tenderness from becoming a spectacle. It looks like keeping covenant with yourself in full view of anyone who thinks covenant is negotiable when the lights are bright. At night, you rehearse the day with God, not as a critic looking for faults, but as a gardener taking notes. Where did attraction move something good forward? Where did it ask to become a shortcut, and where did you decline? Where did you mistake flattery for favor, and how will you correct the math tomorrow? This review is not anxious, it is agricultural. You are learning how to plant and prune the kind of beauty that feeds communities. You are noticing which seeds sprout in silence and which need a witness. You are naming pests by name, urgency, performance, entitlement, so you can set traps for them before they chew the roots. Each dawn you return to your field and the field recognizes you. That mutual recognition is what attraction with purpose feels like when it matures into a life. Eventually, you begin to see the legacy of this way. People who once approached brightness like a raid start approaching it like a prayer. People who thought desire demanded drama learn it can make structures instead. People who expected to be dazzled find themselves steadied, and steady turns out to be the miracle they needed. Your beauty stops being a detour and becomes a bridge. The crossing is quiet. The crossing is real. And you, chosen one, continue walking. Light in your eyes, patience in your hands, toward the future you are shaping on purpose. Chosen one, your body has never been a problem to solve. It has always been a place to meet God. This month, the meeting is particularly luminous. The high energy you feel humming beneath your skin is not asking for spectacle. It is asking for stewardship of a temple. You are learning the architecture of yourself again. The height of your thresholds, the shape of your rooms, the acoustics that make certain words ring true and others ring hollow. Calling your body a sanctuary is not metaphor. It is instruction. Sanctuaries have doors and altars, windows and rules, resonance and rest. Begin at the door. Sacred places are welcoming and discerning at once. You become fluent in greeting without conceding, in warmth that does not waive wisdom. The threshold of you is where consent lives, and the word consent is not clinical in this house. It is holy. Consent is how you protect worship from becoming performance, presence from becoming product. You learn to sense which footsteps belong inside and which belong on the porch, with a blessing and a boundary. This knowing is not suspicion. It is reverence for what happens in the inner room when the door is honored. Step inside and notice the altar. Altars are where offerings are placed and where claims are surrendered. You place on yours the appetites that make you gloriously human. Hunger for touch, for belonging, for meaning, for joy, and you ask God to lead them, not erase them. You refuse to throw your desires into the fire as if holiness required starvation. Instead, you let fire refine them into fuel that does not burn your house down. In prayer, you name aloud the kinds of touch that heal and the contexts that keep touch truthful. You ask for covenants strong enough to hold delight without debt. You ask for work that exhausts you in ways sleep can fix. You ask for laughter that does not need a victim. The altar does not bargain. It blesses clarity. Windows matter here. Sanctuaries are designed to catch light at particular hours, to invite radiance in without abandoning shelter. You make choices about exposure that honor the seasons of your soul. Not everything that is precious belongs on display. Not everything that is private belongs in hiding. You learn when to throw the shutters open so joy can flood the space, and when to pull them partially closed so intimacy can breathe without an audience. The internet is not your architect. Algorithms are not your son. You allow light to come from places that do not invoice your attention. Scripture that steadies, art that widens, silence that dignifies, friendship that does not require performance to be true. Sanctuaries have rules, not to shrink love, but to keep it clean. You write yours in a language your body can understand. No conversation continues once contempt enters. No hospitality continues once safety leaves. No invitation is accepted if it requires you to abandon your wisdom to prove your willingness. You do not negotiate these rules every time a charming exception knocks. You keep them because keeping them makes the space trustworthy. People learn by repetition that kindness has edges here, that tenderness is protected here, that your yes is sacred here, and your no is prayer here. The body relaxes when it is defended. Relaxation makes reverence easier. Your senses are part of the liturgy. Smell returns you to yourself with something as simple as citrus at the sink or cedar on the edge of a shelf. Sound orders your nervous system. Unrushed music in the morning, honest laughter in the afternoon, quiet long enough at night to hear your own gratitude. Taste becomes blessing instead of bargaining. You eat to honor flesh that has become your ally. Sight becomes communion. You look at art, at faces, at sky, until your eyes remember that beauty is not a trap but a teacher. Touch returns to its vocation, sacrament rather than strategy, offered and received where covenant can protect it. you practice maintenance. Sanctuaries do not stay clean by accident. You sweep out the guilt that sneaks in under the door, the one that tries to rename desire as sin before it has been asked what it wants to build. You dust the corners where resentment settles when boundaries are tested. You repair the scuff marks left by hurry. This work is not punitive, it is priestly. You are keeping house for a presence you love. In that love, you also allow others to help. Friends who can see where the paint has cracked and bring gentle brushes. Elders who know how to fix a hinge that squeaks at the worst moments. Companions who stand guard at the door when your strength is low. There is rest here, and rest is not what happens after you've earned it. Rest is part of the service. You lie down without rehearsing arguments that never happened. You sleep inside promises that do not depend on your vigilance. You wake with a body that believes you will not extract from it what you are unwilling to replenish. The more you rest, the more you trust your signals. The more you trust your signals, the less you gaslight yourself when a situation feels wrong simply because it looks right. The sanctuary teaches discernment by letting you practice it on yourself first. Sanctuaries open to the community at appointed times. Your body, kept this way, becomes safe space for others. People step inside your presence and feel their pulse slow, not because you are a healer for hire, but because the rules of your house create weather where honesty can breathe. You do not medicate their anxiety with performative intimacy. You do not monetize their admiration by selling them the backstage tour of your soul. You offer a chair, a glass of water, a gaze that does not devour, and language that refuses to humiliate. You do not keep anyone longer than love keeps them. You let them leave with dignity intact. Your beauty becomes a refuge that does not recruit dependence. To guard a sanctuary, you must sometimes close the doors and let the incense thicken. You must sometimes choose solitude over shared screens, scripture over scroll, sweat over spectacle, tears over snark. You must sometimes disappoint people who worship spontaneity when what holiness is asking for is rhythm. This is not withdrawal, it is worship. The sanctuary does not live for visitors. It lives for the presence that makes visitors safe to receive. In that order, you become free, from the compulsion to be available to everyone, from the addiction to crisis that calls itself purpose, from the old fear that you will vanish if you are not constantly visible. And when storms come, as they do to every house, you will listen to the rain and feel the strength of your walls. You will hear the wind and remember the carpenter who taught you how to brace the beams. You will open the door when lightning passes and find that the furniture is still where you left it. You will set another place at the table for the one who made it in from the weather, and you will not need to be extraordinary to serve them. Only present, only clean, only human. That is the promise of body as sanctuary. It does not make you untouchable, it makes you trustworthy. It does not make you less alive, it makes you more aligned. It does not make you smaller, it makes you a house large enough for joy, truth, desire, and God to inhabit the same address without war. Walk forward in this knowing, chosen one. Touch the door frame when you leave as a reminder that you will not sell the house for a moment. Touch it again when you return as a vow that you will keep the rooms in order. Let your beauty be the light that leaks from well-kept windows. Let your energy be the warmth that means the hearth is tended. And let every person who steps near you this month learn by experience what your words have been quietly saying all along. This body is a sanctuary, and sanctuaries keep people, not performances, safe. Chosen one, the brightness on your face is drawing approach from every direction. An approach is a beautiful thing until it forgets its manners. This month, your beauty is sitting for an exam that does not grade the curve of your cheek or the tilt of your smile. It tests the hinges of your doors. Boundaries are what make radiance safe to touch. Without them, the current you carry becomes a wildfire. With them, it becomes a hearth that warms without consuming. God has not handed you this high energy to prove how much you can endure. He has entrusted it to teach you where the holy ends and the harmful begins, and how to keep that line kind and unmistakable. You are learning that love does not measure itself by how quickly you answer or how often you bend. It measures itself by how faithfully you tell the truth about capacity. Capacity is not stinginess. It is stewardship. You can feel stewardship in your body before you can articulate it. The sigh that turns into breath again when you slow a conversation to an honest pace. The calm that returns to your shoulders when you end a call before the first hint of contempt arrives. The way your pulse steadies when you choose sleep over one more exchange that would only buy you a hangover of regret. These are not small victories. They are how chosen ones keep their lamp trimmed in a season when every gust of attention wants to test the flame. The first portion of the test masquerades as urgency. Messages that arrive with alarms in their subject lines, invitations stamped now or never, eyes that ask for intimacy at speeds that rewrite the laws of trust. You will feel the old reflex try to sprint, because sprinting used to win you a kind of affection that never kept its promises. This time, you let urgency pass through as weather while you remain as climate. You answer with timing rather than adrenaline.